Man, I love watching that intro. Before the video starts, I want to thank you guys so much for all the positive feedback you guys gave me on that intro. I was a little skeptical about posting that and adding it to my videos now, but I really enjoyed how that turned out, and I just want to thank you guys so much for all the positive feedback you guys gave me. But if you haven't read the title yet, or the thumbnail, this is breaking news. We have a leak talking about a new Knights of the Old Republic game. Now, as I say with all my leaks going forward, this is not official, but we can't say it's true or false. But however, the people who have leaked this information have a reputation of leaking things, so take that as you will, and take all this information with a grain of salt. Before we move forward, I want to remind you guys that this is the #1 place for you guys to get updated on all the upcoming Star Wars gaming news, whether it's official or if it's a leak or if it's a rumor. This is going to be your #1 place to get it. So if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, as I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, let's get on to the video. So this leak comes to us from the Bespin Bulletin, which is a podcast of people who have like I said before, they have a reputation of leaking Star Wars games and information. In the past, I believe they leaked Project Maverick, which turned out to be Star Wars Squadrons, and I believe they also leaked Jedi Fallen Order. I'm not for sure on that one, though. I'll have to look into that. But earlier on Reddit, I saw on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, I saw a post saying, according to Bespin Bulletin, a new KOTOR is indeed in development. Now, the Reddit post here by Cypress FX93 said this: just listen to his latest podcast, and it is indeed in development, that being KOTOR, a reboot. No idea if it's a remake or a reboot. I would assume that it's a reboot, which is why I'm gonna put that in the title. But, you know, I can't say that for sure. And the Bespin Bulletin has also said that a lot of details about this KOTOR remake or reboot. We don't know if it's KOTOR 3 or not. But I did listen to their podcast, and I did get some information from it, from what they were able to leak, and this is what they had to say about the KOTOR reboot, or remake. So for the next KOTOR game, the details provided by the Bespin Bulletin were the fact that EA is not developing this next KOTOR game, whether it's a remake or a reboot or KOTOR 3, which to me is very good news, because I feel like BioWare now is not, I don't know, they've changed a lot. I feel like the Star Wars The Old Republic game is very successful, but I feel like a lot of the other, like the people who worked on the KOTOR franchise earlier have, you know, gone to other studios and whatnot, and, you know, the main company that made that game, Obsidian, is no longer working with EA. Now, it's funny that I brought up Obsidian, because in the podcast, they mentioned that they would, when asked about who was making the KOTOR game, from Jason Schreier, who is a very reliable leaker, one of the most famous, you know, gaming leakers, and if that person hears about it, if he hears about a leak, then it most likely is going to come true. Now, Jason has told us before that a KOTOR reboot has been tried to, you know, be made, but they've been failing a lot. But when asked recently who would be developing this KOTOR game, he replied and said, "You would not believe who would be making it." Now, after hearing this and seeing the recent news with Lucasfilm Games working with Microsoft, specifically on the new Bethesda-titled Indiana Jones game, my mind automatically diverts to Obsidian, the original developers who made the Knights of the Old Republic games 1 and 2, as well as the critical hit of Fallout New Vegas. That's who I believe will be working on it. Now, Obsidian is very busy right now, so they're making like a new RPG, and they're making a bunch of other games as well, stuff for the Outer Worlds, I believe. But that's who I would expect to, you know, make it. The fact that Jason said that we would not believe who was making it kind of makes me a little bit worried, but also hopeful that, you know, maybe a good studio like Obsidian is working on it, or perhaps maybe a studio like Larian Studios. They made the recent Baldur's Gate 3, which I've played a little bit of, and I really enjoyed the role-playing in that, as well as Divinity, Original Sin 2. I've made a video on that, and that was a fun experience. But that's pretty much all the details we have about this new KOTOR game. We basically have a really good leaker here saying it's in development. This person has credibility, but as for other details, we do not know who is making it, and we do know that EA is not making it, which is, to me, somewhat good news, especially after the failure of Anthem and other recent titles from BioWare. But moving on, I'm going to move on to some other details about specifically Battlefront 3. Another Reddit post claiming to give us some more details about Battlefront 3 has surfaced recently. Now, again, this is a leak, so there's not an official source, so take it with a grain of salt. We don't know if the information is true or false, so I'm just here to report on it in case it is true. But here's what the leak says. The leaker from the name Definitely Not a Game Dev says this: Battlefront 3 is currently in very early development. DICE is trying to reinvent the Battlefront franchise. Expect an announcement for the third Battlefront in the first half of the year. It'll be a logo reveal, no gameplay. Fallen Order 2 is in development. It's farther into development than you'd think. Respawn's been working on the title since before the release of Fallen Order 1, and an announcement for Fallen Order 2 will happen in the second half of this year. Some random noteworthy things is that Ubisoft's massive open world title is an MMO with tons and tons of content. EA does have quite a few titles in development, but with their past track record, there's no way of knowing what will and won't be releasing, even announced properly. Willing to elaborate. There is indeed a KOTOR remake in the works. EA is not working on it. So after looking into this leaker a bit more, I did find that this account that made this leak is a burner account, so there's no other, this account was relatively new. It was made like 15 or 16 hours ago, and it's just a burner account, so the person doesn't have their information, leaked or traced back to them. So, given the information provided by this leak as well as the other one, I feel like the Bespin Bulletin leak is very true, very plausible. I can't say it is true because, like I said, this is a leak. We don't know if it's true or false. However, Bespin Bulletin has a great, track record of leaking things that do eventually happen, as well as Jason Schreier, But with this leak right here, I think that all the things that were said are very plausible, realistic. Battlefront 3 is trying to reinvent the franchise, and, Fallen Order 2 will be announced later this year, probably at EA Play. I find that the Ubisoft massive MMO with tons of content is realistic as well, because they made The Division, and that game is, open world sort of MMO, I guess. I guess you'd call that MMO, I'm not sure. But as for the other things that they said, the KOTOR remake, like I reported earlier, the Bespin Bulletin, this post also confirms that it's not being worked on by EA. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think that these leaks are true, or do you guys think that this is completely false? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Once again, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on the channel, and I can't wait to see what information we get in the future, what games we get in the future of this year. I really think this is going to be a great year for Star Wars, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Like I said earlier, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I appreciate the support, and with that, I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Bye.
Do it. Do it. Do it. I am the Senate. Do it.